England winning? Fish, bicycle, and so on. Or how about coffee and logs? So I've got to ask, what on earth is a coffee log, and why is Matt Keniston selling them? Hello, Matt.
Good morning, Jonathan.
Hello. I've got to start from the very beginning, haven't I? What is a coffee log?
Well, a coffee log, Jonathan, is the new wonder fuel produced by Biobean. So we are the world's first coffee recycling facility. So we take in waste coffee from industry, from coffee shops, from universities, and basically we reprocess that coffee waste into a solid fuel. And that solid fuel, called a coffee log, is a direct replacement for wood logs and coal, which you can burn on your stove at home.
Okay, so in the end then, coffee log does exactly what it says. It's a log made of coffee.
Exactly that. You can't eat it, you can't drink it. The coffee thing often confuses people. It's definitely something that you want to put on your in your stove.
It certainly confused me. Has this always been possible, or is this a whole new technique?
It's people have burnt coffee in the past, but no one's ever bothered collecting all the coffee waste. In the UK, we have a huge problem with our coffee habit. Everyone loves coffee, but it generates about 500,000 tonnes of coffee waste per year, which is a phenomenal amount. To put that into perspective, if you imagine a family car, that's about 300,000 family cars all stacked up in a pyramid. If you can imagine what that looks like, that's how much coffee waste there is in the UK. So if that goes to landfill, which lots of it does, it ends up releasing lots of nasty methane, which is one of the worst greenhouse gases, so we need to stop that. So by Biobean taking in the waste coffee, and we take a very small proportion of that at the moment, it's getting bigger, but it makes sense for us to repurpose it, and actually by burning it as a solid fuel, you save all those greenhouse emissions.
That sounds so simple that I'm amazed that nobody's done it before, so congratulations you for being the first. How's it going?
It's going really well. It's going well. We started in 2013. Our founder, Arthur Kay, was a student at UCL studying architecture, was tasked with looking at the coffee shop and how we could make that more sustainable. He realised that all this coffee waste was coming out the back of the coffee shop and thought, what can we do with it? He was based at UCL. UCL has got world-leading laboratories, got some guys in white coats together, and basically realised that it's an amazing resource. It's full of, it's great to burn, but it's also got lots of really interesting oils and compounds and essences in it. So, it's one man's trash is another man's gold. It's a really valuable resource.
Yeah, and a resource that is completely unused, as you were saying, because coffee shops, I would imagine, these days just throw it away.
Yeah, and if it goes into general waste, which a lot of it does, it ends up going to landfill. And there's a huge, not just an environmental cost to that, there's a huge financial cost to that as well. So actually, typically, the rough figures are if you send a ton of waste to landfill, it costs you £100. You can drop a ton of coffee with us for nothing. So there's a huge financial saving for the coffee shops, as well as the environmental saving. So it's a win-win.
Okay, so somebody in a coffee shop now listening to this thinking, we throw away all that coffee, we pay somebody to take it away, you want to hear from them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what we don't do is we don't have our own trucks going out there collecting coffee because that would put more vehicles on the road. So we work with the existing waste management structure. So all the sort of local authorities, but also the private waste management companies we partner with. So we started in London. So we've got 5 or 6 partners in London, but we're slowly creeping out. So we're now in Manchester, we're now in Brighton, we're now in Birmingham, and we're in your area as well. So we work locally with Corleys, who are great people to work with. So literally, if they're coming in to pick up your food waste, your dry recycling, your glass, you can also say, hey, can you pick up my coffee as well? They'll take it back to their depot. When they've aggregated, a big skip load, it makes sense to then bring it up to our facility, which we're in Cambridgeshire.
Okay, so if you're running a coffee shop in Wycombe and your waste gets taken away by Corleys, then presumably you just say to Corleys, is this coffee going to coffee logs?
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. Anybody should get in touch wastecoffee at bio-bean.com, or go online, bio-bean.com, and all the details are on there of how to make contact. But yeah, we've had a fantastic year selling our coffee logs. That's created me with a bit of a problem, the fact that we need more waste coffee in. So we're really keen to spread the word to all coffee shops that we want your coffee grounds.
Well, there's certainly plenty out there. And at the other end of the process, this means that you can go into the place where you would buy logs if you have an open fire and look for coffee logs.
No, absolutely. On our website, there's a list of stockists, but we sell really well in places like farm shops, garden centres, traditionally where people go and buy a bag of logs, petrol station forecourts. But really, I think in the Wycombe area, we've got 3 or 4 garden centres that will be stocking our logs. But again, if you go onto the stockist page on our website, bio-bean.com, you'll find all the links to coffee logs there.
And if you have a regular place where you go to buy logs and they don't have coffee logs, ask them for the coffee logs, because I guess that is the impetus they need to go out and find them.
Exactly. If you can get your local logman or stockist to give us a call, we'll happily talk to them and hopefully get them a pallet of logs down, so then they can sell direct to the general public.
When you get these home and put them on your fire and set light to them, what do they smell like?
People always ask that.
I can imagine they would. Yes.
If you imagine you've already had your morning coffee out of those coffee grounds, so you've taken a lot of the flavour and the nice taste away. When we get the coffee back to the factory, we dry it, and then we also extract some of those flavour and fragrances. So what we're left with is the kind of dried biomass. Although you know it comes from coffee, and if you break a log in half and you smell it, you can definitely tell it's coffee. That doesn't necessarily translate into the smoke. Although it seems that the scent to smell is the most suggestible scent. If you tell people it smells like coffee, they tend to say it does.
Now I'm not actually all that surprised, really, because your senses can do funny things to you, can't they? So by the strict measurement, it doesn't actually smell of coffee because all the coffee has been extracted, I guess.
Exactly, all those nice flavours, smells and fragrances. So it smells, to me, and again it's quite subjective, it smells somewhere between wood logs and charcoal.
Okay. Right, well, that is fascinating. So the two takeaways we can take from that. One is that coffee logs are a great thing to buy if you burn logs generally at home on an open fire, or even in a shop or something like that. If you have an open fire, look for coffee logs, because you are basically buying recycled material to make logs. And if you have a coffee shop, make sure that your waste coffee goes to BioBean to be recycled. What's not to like? Is there a downside, Matt, at all?
We can't find one.
Good. I'm very glad to hear it, because I can't see one either. Isn't that fascinating? So next time you're in a coffee shop in Wycombe High Street, in Wycombe High Street, like most high streets, you can stand in the doorway of any given coffee shop and throw a full cup of coffee and hit at least 3 other coffee shops. So the next time you're in a coffee shop, actually maybe ask them. Maybe, Matt, public pressure is the way to go. That if I go into a coffee shop and say, "Do you recycle your waste coffee?" then that might get them thinking.
It's a really strong message, because cups, people are very conscious of recycling their coffee cups. We helped recycle 39 million cups of coffee last year. So a phenomenal amount, but that's still a drop in the ocean. It's
a very small proportion, isn't it? Yes.
Isn't it? But any pressure that we can get from the general public, say, going into their coffee shops, saying, guys, what do you, as responsible human beings, we need to be thinking about our waste, not just our coffee waste, but all our waste. And if you know that your coffee waste is being collected and then turned into logs, then it really is a win-win.
Right. One final thing we must say: if you for anyone who burns logs, give them a try, and we can make that possible, can't we, Matt? We have some giveaways.
Absolutely. I think if I'm not quite sure how you're going to manage this, but
neither am I.
Here. We've got some coffee logs here that we would love to give away to some of your listeners. So Yeah, I think it's a matter of, is it a phone-in, Jonathan?
I think so. I think we will say the first person to call and say, give me those coffee logs, gets them, and we'll work out the details later.
Excellent. What's your number? Because I might phone in myself.
I would have thought you'd got them.
We have.
You don't have any shortage of them, Matt. That has been a fascinating insight into some of the things that go on that we just don't see normally, and what a good idea. Matt Keniston from BioBean, thanks ever so much for joining us this morning on Wycombe Sound. I'm sure we will continue to talk about this.
Lovely. Absolute pleasure. Thank you, Jonathan.
And I must apologise for the next tune. Sometimes I just can't resist doing the obvious. This is Yvonne Lyon and the coffee song. Sorry.